when you drive around Nebraska, in almost every field you either see a pivot or irrigation pipes. Have you ever thought of other ways to water your crops? Another way of irrigation is called drip irrigation. You ask, what is drip irrigation? According to EcoDrip, it is a system underground that releases water, fertilizer, and pesticides directly to the roots of the crops. Since my parents are farmers, I know about irrigation by pivots and pipe. I was curious about other ways of irrigation. I found this type of irrigation and did some research on it, and it had many benefits. 3 reasons why more people should use drip irrigation include: it helps cut back on the use of resources so we have more for future years. 2, it will decrease pollution, and 3, it will help increase revenue. One reason farmers should switch to drip irrigation is that it helps cut back on the use of resources. Right now, we all might think that the resources we use will be around forever, and there's no worries about how much we are using. This is not the case. We need to limit our amount of resources we use, so future generations can have them too. Drip irrigation will help with the conservation of water, as stated by Stalcom. In drip irrigation, the water is transported directly to the roots of the crops, which in return has you use less water. This is very beneficial so we don't run out of fresh water in the future. This type of irrigation also helps reduce the use of energy. Since all you use is a water line underground, there's no need for pivots. The energy it takes to run the drip irrigation would be less because it needs less water, which means that the system needs to be on for a shorter period of time. Drip irrigation also helps lower the amount of chemicals you use on the field. This is also because the water system is at the same level of the roots. The fertilizer and pesticides come out with the water, and since they are directly at the roots of the plants, it takes in the chemicals more quickly. In return, you have to use less. Another benefit to the environment by switching to drip irrigation is that it decreases in pollution. According to Toro, drip irrigation will decrease the amount of runoff to almost none. This is super beneficial because the runoff that you have with normal irrigation carries the chemicals and pesticides to wherever the water flows. This may include another waterway or even plants that it may contaminate. This contamination can affect plants and even animals in harmful ways. Also, by switching to drip irrigation, it reduces the air pollution. This is because the chemicals don't seep back into the air because they're all underground. Also, tractors don't have to put the chemicals onto the field, which lessens the amount of exhaust that escapes into the atmosphere, which also, of course, lessens air pollution. An outcome of drip irrigation is an increase of revenue. Drip irrigation increases the amount of yields, which, as stated in my last speech, is the number of crops produced in the season. This is because all the crops get around the same amount of water and chemicals and nutrients, which helps with the end result. Drip irrigation also helps make the quality of the yields better, as stated by drip irrigation. This is also because the equal distribution of water and chemicals. As you can see, there are many reasons farmers should switch to drip irrigation. They include reduce in the use of resources, lessen pollution, and increase the production number and quality of the crops. Switching to drip irrigation will make the earth more sustainable because you use less resources, so in return there will be more for future generations. Sometimes people need to step out of the norms to be able to be sustainable. A lot of things people are used to do not help the environment. So, looking at different options can better the earth and everyone on it.